Dear class, Dr. Steve Diazio here. I'm sending this quick and short video message to give you an update. I have reviewed all of your presentations. These are the final research presentations that you just submitted. And I want to suggest congratulations for completing that. You, or most of you, have demonstrated you've done this broad research in terms of topics, issues, and concerns that are happening here in the Suncoast area. Some of you tailored to your concerns and others, but overall you've demonstrated this wide and broad basin approach and finding out that there's lots of issues in the Suncoast area. A few tips. Some of you are only touching on the surface level about the research on IoT, Internet of Things. I think it's important to start highlighting and going into depth of how Internet of Things have been used to solve like-minded problems in the area, nationally and internationally. And you'll find out that the Internet of Things can be utilized in many different ways and in many cases, case studies, etc., which might spur adoption in your area or spur new ideas or how they can solve related challenges. So make sure you are explaining and going into depth to be able to understand and communicate to the audience what the Internet of Things are, because not all of you are going into the level of depth and research that needs to be. Next, most importantly, you need to find examples about the content. The content are the tools, techniques, methods, models, whatever, the Swiss Army knife that organizations, governments, regional governments, national governments are using to innovate. These are the tools you need to use that are being utilized in the we'll say the foundation, and then Internet of Things is kind of the execution of it, or we'll say these run parallel. So how are you using these models and through the Internet of Things to solve your problem, to solve the challenge that you're choosing on? So how are they being used in companies? How are they being used in governments, nations, policies? And this will help you brainstorm solutions. Because I want you to remember that you are learning about innovation, learning about scaling and scalability and how organizations scale. Innovations, new products, services, and ideas, new companies, etc. But you have to apply that to your problem when we come to building solutions. But you can also use them as a window to understand cases for research. So Denmark is famous for using these. Barcelona is famous for using these. Berlin, Sao Paulo, Colombia, China, all over China, South Korea for sure. So the list goes on. The point is, we don't want to just look here in the Tampa Bay region. There may be other smart people out there elsewhere utilizing these models, these tools, these frameworks of innovation, applying to the Internet of Things to solve a social challenge or social issue. I always want you to be professional. Drop the I. You guys are consultants. You guys are the innovation team, innovation leads, innovation mavericks. And you can't just say I opinion. And this is not an opinion presentation. This is driven by research. This is what consultants do. This is what business people do. This is what innovators do. They're using data to make their point. We cannot be saying I want, I wish, I this. Tell me what, if there's not data to support it, no one cares what you think. This is data driven. Can you find the data and research that's supporting your argument? Drop all I's, be objective, don't be subjective, and find the research and data to support you. And because we're professionals here, this is not a willy-nilly thing. We're not we are professionals, and we need to drop that subjectivity. Midterm presentations are going to come up. Again, we are not presenting solutions yet. We will only do that. You'll have the whole second half of the semester to work on building ideas and solutions. So you'll have 8 weeks to work on building a solution. But for the midterm, you are, again, refining your narrative, refining your story, and most importantly, there are 2 important tools that you'll be learning. How might we, and then framing the value proposition tool. And these are tools to help you problem solve and to build and understand focus. Because right now you guys are, some of you, not all of you, are tackling like worldwide problems. I mean, no, just focus on one small problem that you can tackle, and that's going to be hard enough. So it doesn't have to be water sustainability, air sustainability, traffic sustainability. This is ridiculous. Focus on one, and the smaller the better, okay? Because we want this to be implementational within the next 6 months or 12 months. So you have to figure out how you can execute this in the next 6 to 12 months. So again, using these tools to brainstorm, work smarter, not harder. What we need to do is to, we don't have to be Superman and Superwoman to solve all the problems. Pick one and focus on one problem. So that's going to be how to frame your problem is going to be that tool that's going to help you there. Another tool that is a brainstorming tool will help you start thinking about solutions. And this is the How Might We tool. This is a form of brainstorming. There's many tools of brainstorming. I have about 15 other ones. If you want to learn more, please reach out to me. If you want to apply them, great. Just know brainstorming is important. There are many ways to do that. Here's one tool. For the midterm presentation, you need to start refining the research that you've been doing, finding the trends, finding the broader narrative. Make it emotional. We want to be professional. Don't stand there in the first moment of your presentation and say, this is a class, blah, 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 blah. No, make it heartfelt, drive people to want to pay attention, know your audience, and give them the hook right away. So identify opportunities through your research, have a conclusion at the end of your presentation. So the idea is this: no solutions. You should be narrowing down the research that you're doing to a refined story, a refined narrative. Highlight it, go through it, demonstrate it with graphs, evidence, data, citations, and refine this in your presentation. So it needs to be probably a new presentation. And think about utilizing the tools that we're going to be learning as well. Make comparisons to other countries' tools, cities that are utilizing the innovation frameworks to help you drive ideas, and find out what models are already being used in practice. Almost none of you have touched on that. Other models, meaning who is using these innovation tools for a solution to their city problem, for instance. Again, congrats for meeting this milestone of the final research presentation. I'm happy to schedule meetings with you individually if you want, or to give you more feedback for the midterm. But no, this is going to be a bigger part of your grade. I think most of you are exactly where you need to be. Okay, they need to be more professional, a clearer narrative, a better beginning, a better ending and conclusion. No solutions yet. And working toward that direction of identifying opportunities and gaps. So basically, at the end of the presentation, we should have a very good idea of where you're going based off the data that is telling us the direction of where things are going or opportunities and gaps, but you're not providing the solutions yet. So again, if you're willing to put the effort in, I'm willing to make the effort as well to meet with you, go over some feedback, provide feedback, go through PowerPoint, whatever the case may be. So I'm here to help you. Look forward to the next presentation. And again, congratulations on finishing the final research presentation.